Right then peeps, hello. I thought today we'd have a look through one of these set-top boxes. See what's in it. Card with a gold flashing on it. I always keep those. I don't process them. I will sell them eventually. This is a Sky box. You get Virgin boxes, they're all pretty similar inside. They're not the easiest to get into, but basically the old scrapper saying goes well here. Undo everything you see, every fastening, and then hit it till it falls apart. So a lot of scrappers out there follow the same modus operandi. You can just hit it with an hammer and forget undoing screws. To be perfectly honest, the Virgin boxes, this is a Sky box, the Virgin boxes, you do have to hit them with a hammer because they've got recessed security torques. I don't have a long, thin enough screwdriver to get down into them. So with those, you do literally have to hit them. Right, that's all the screws undone. Every screw you can see. There's two different sizes on these, both Phillips. Sometimes you'll get Torx screws, sometimes you don't. It's pretty hit and miss, just look. I mean, the two people always miss is these two here. Little nuts that hold your RS232 plug-in. I'm not clever, it just says it underneath. Fortunately with these, you give them a little twist with a pair of pliers and then they're finger tight. They're brass so they don't rot. They go in a brass bucket, every little helps, etc, etc. Then the next thing everybody usually misses is on the back of the two aerial connections. You see there's a couple of nuts. Again, pair of pliers, give them a twist. Once they start moving, they're usually quite easy to undo. In this case they're not, because the person who's put the aerial on has cross-threaded the aerial, which means the thread's damaged, which means it's quite tough to wind the nut up. There you go. I've done 4 of these this morning before I decided to video it. Not one of them gave me a problem. Get it on video. A motorbike drives past, kids start playing outside, someone starts mowing their lawn next to you. You know, the usual downsides of modern YouTube life. Oh dear, what a shame, never mind. Right, these end pieces. Get a screwdriver under it, flick it up, and you see, it's slid back. Take it off. Same at both ends. They slide back. Forward, back, take them off. Then you've got a deeply recessed screw there. It runs all the way through there. I don't bother, just cut it, job done. A couple of little lock tabs at the top. It's really not worth faffing about. Cut it, cut it. There are clips along the back here, 4 of them. You need to be close to them to get them to pop. In so much as if you lever from this end, it won't pop it. You need to pop it locally, where it is. And the whole top section pulls up and off. Recycling your set-top box. This is held together with, well, I'll go upside down back to the front again. Right there. Little twist tab. They just twist it over. That's all I do. Pair of pliers. There's 2 either side. Pull them back. Pop off the wires at the front. They go inside. They go to the front keypad. Just pop them off. I also take off this little board here, which is the Wi-Fi antenna. It's a little chip on board. I'll put that in with my mid-grades, what I call mid-grades. What the refiner calls them is a totally different thing. Now you've bent them flaps up out of the way, the whole top just lifts off. Inside you've got one screw, one screw and this whole top board comes off. I always take off the extruded, exposing the BGA underneath. It's not a gold corner BGA, it's not even a very good, it's a gold copper capped BGA. It's not the best, but you've got lots of other little chips. As always, take off the crystal oscillator, something I caught off of E-Waste bin. I now take off every crystal oscillator. Pop off all your wires. You're going to have to snip through a couple of cable ties to get your wires off. I don't faff about too much, just pull them off, trim them up. On the SATA cables I keep the plugs from the board end, that goes in my gold capped or gold connections, the power plug, and the hard drive end. That's 3 little gold pin plugs I put in all my other gold pin plugs. I then clean up the plugs off the end of the wires, and everything goes in my VIR. VIR is like the battle, well, it's not the lowest you can get, but you don't get much lower than VIR, so you don't really need to clean it up. I mean, really, these should go into singles because there's more copper than sheathing. VIR is 40% copper. These are 70% copper. It's up to you. I mean, I put a bit of Cat 6 in with me VIR, which is only 30% copper, so it'll keep things nice and even, and so they don't lose too much money, because I like to look after my scrap man. Right, I've taken that screw out of there. Once that screw's out of there, you've got a row of pins along this side. Lift the board up, and if you've remembered to undo them 2 nuts and them 2 nuts, that whole board comes out. Nothing spectacular. You got some, I don't know what they are, they look like little BGA chips. I can't see any legs on the edge, so they must be ball grid. You've got 3 of those, some little ICs, there's probably tantalums and whatever under there, I don't know. As I say, I sell these balls whole, so I don't really look at what's left on there. Sometimes I'll pinch these copper coils off of them, sometimes I won't. It all depends what sort of mood I'm in, whether I'm in a rush or not. I mean, at the moment I have 5 of these to go through, and then I've got the Virgin boxes. One screw there for the hard drive, the lower motherboard, the lower board, it's got 2 screws holding it in. Excuse my head being in shot, checking out my board spot. Now then, this front panel, it's not worth anything really, there's only a single chip on it, but you need to get it off, and to get it off you need to undo these little twist tabs. Twist them to line them up. There's 4 of them. Pull back a little clip there and the board should just pop off. The reason you need to get them off is so you can access these 3 screws here, because they hold in the hard drive, which is the main reason you're taking this apart. It's because you've got a nice hard drive in it, which is most of the weight. Take that screw out properly. There's your hard drive. Bit of alley. It's in the aluminium box. Take off the metal bracket because I like to clean things as much as I can. Don't want to be getting dirty prices at the scrapyard. This bottom board is held in little tabs there. You can either bend them back out the way, or you can just pop them off like that, and then take the board out. And there's your board, there's your rubbish. I don't bother taking the fans out. Some I've trimmed the plastic back off them. It's hardly worth the effort. Plus, fans and motors is a ridiculous amount. There's that little chip that's on the front board. If you're going to keep that, snap the board down, otherwise they'll just take this as low grade. You snap it down and give them less crap. They'll at least give you chip on board price, which I think is a peripheral board. I'm not 100% sure on that. Now what I do, because this board hasn't really got a lot on it, it won't have after I've taken the crystal off of it, COS e-waste bin. There's not a lot on this lower board. There's a couple of chips there, a chip there. There's this winding. I take that off because they're easy to strip. You've got a chip there. This board would probably be a low grade board. So what I do is I plug it back in carefully. You watch, there we go. I plug it back in securely, so it's back as being one board, and then I send it in like that, and they take it as the whole thing as a mid-grade board. Then I might take these off. I mean, you don't want to clean too much off because you're just doing your processor. The person who processes your scrap, not the processor as in the chip. You're just doing your processor out of profit. That's a mid-grade board, really. The only thing that really saves it are these. That's probably the lowest grade of BGA you can get. But these little chips here sort of save it. The gold pins, if you can see that, they're full length gold all the way, so that's quite good. You could take them off, but to be perfectly honest, I have probably got 500 of these. Every time Sky roll out a new box or Virgin roll out a new box, they tell the owners, dispose of your box, take it to a recycling centre. They never do, they put it out in the rubbish and I recycle it. So there you go, there's a Sky box scrapped out for you. Not a lot to it, but there never is. Probably about, I don't know, 50 pence worth of scrap in there. But you know, every little helps, etc, etc. There you go, peeps. I'll talk to you in a bit when I get a Virgin box out, although they are a lot harder to scrap. Back to you in a sec. Right, here we got, this is a Virgin box, different from the Sky box slightly. These are a lot harder to take apart, a lot harder. Security Torx screws, the ones with a little pin in the middle, freaking nightmare. Sometimes you can get them without using a Security Torx bit. You can sort of wedge it in there and it will crush the pin down a bit and undo. These ones are being particularly difficult. As you can see, I've undone one, I've undone two, and the rest have been a nightmare. Plus, on top of that, you've got 4 of these recess screws, and these screws are all the way down there. So not only do you need a Torx, Security Torx bit, you need a Security Torx screwdriver to fit down there, because the Security Torx bit and its holder won't fit in that hole. So I get all Ian Matthews on its arse. 1, 2, 3, 4. As you can see, no more Security Torx. Pops open, job done. Sometimes the only answer really is a big hammer. Anyway, you can see inside there, hard drive of course, it's a DVR after all. Much simpler layout to the Virgin box, much simpler actually. These must come with a separate power pack, or do they? Yes, they come with a separate power pack. As you can see, there's a power 12 volt DC. These come with a separate power pack. This is why there's no power board in there, so these boards are probably actually worth more than the Virgin boards. But anyway, stripping it down similar. SATA cable, although these SATA cables are a lot smaller. They're much better packaged, I must admit. The Virgin boxes are much better packaged than the Sky boxes. The Sky boxes seem to be sort of, they didn't really sit down and plan it, they just sort of thought, oh, we need to make a board, let's make it all up. The Virgin boxes, much nicer, tighter, neater and well designed. I mean look, 2 screws, that lifts off and it just sits into 2 rubber feet at the back. Okay, you've got more brackets to strip off, but it shows somebody sat down and thought about it. And I'm sure there's a few people out there who think this is extremely boring. It probably is for a lot of people out there. What we got? 3.3 Seagate hard drive. No reading glasses. What size is this? Does it even tell me? Yeah, no, 5000. Don't even tell you what size it is, or does it? 500 gigabyte SATA. Can you see any of that? Ooh, yeah, this is what it's like for me without reading glasses. We're glad the opticians open up again so I can order some new reading glasses. I can actually start, well, you know, reading. Be awfully nice. Again, take out all the screws, not forgetting the little nut round there. Now, this is where things are going to get destructive because I haven't got my screwdriver to take off them little. There's actually 2 torque screws that hold this board to the plastic case that I can't get off because the screwdriver I usually use for taking them off is in the ambulance at the moment. So we need to get destructive. Actually, I think that will come out with the plate. Yep, that will come out with the plate. Right. There. Now I will usually strip this, but I will take these screws out later. That 1, 2, 3, 4 there. And I will take the board off the plate, because if you send it in with a plate, they're not going to be very happy with you because you're just sending in extra weight. What I do usually do is these little securing pins, if you push them down, as you can see, they pop out further the other side. So I pop them out, cut them off. In this case, there's no aluminium heatsink. The entire plate underneath is the heatsink, as is this steel plate on top. So you're not getting as much alley. Underneath it, BGA. It's not gold cornered, but at least it's not them copper capped ones. Crystal oscillator. Can't help myself. Bloody E-waste bend that is. I think that's it for what's worth taking. I only take crystal oscillators off anyway. You got a BGA, you got some other, I think they're BGAs, I'm not sure. I'm really not up on all the bits and pieces. I just sell the board as a board. I don't bother stripping it because I'm never going to get around to refining it. I might get around to poisoning myself. I've done some gold finger strips before, strip those. It's a lot of effort, not as much effort as gold panning in Wales, to be perfectly honest with you. It's actually a lot easier to find urban gold than it is to find natural gold. Anyway, this would be finished if I had my screwdriver to take out these remaining 3-4 screws, which I don't. So I'll put this back over in the corner, and when I get my screwdriver back from my camper, the one with the flicking and out interchangeable ends, it's got a specific bit for undoing these. I've got another 2 to go over there and another 2. Virgin are bringing out a new box soon, in the next couple of months. There will be lots and lots of this old style Virgin box out. This is what I'm showing you now. I believe Sky are bringing out their new box. They're bringing out the Q8, which I've already scrapped a couple of. I've had them brand new in the packet. People have got them and then thrown them away. I don't know why. And they come with a 1 terabyte Hitachi hard drive. Very nice if you've got a laptop you want to update your hard drive. Keep an eye out for them, peeps. I know people out there are going to be saying, oh, they're the property of Virgin, they're the property of... They're not. When you get sent for a new box, if you've had your old box long enough, they will say to you, it's yours, we don't want it back, it's too old, it's no good to us, we don't want to pay somebody to recycle it, dispose of it properly. They'll say in an email or over the phone, dispose of it properly at a recycling centre. I'm a recycler. I might not be a centre, but I'm a recycler. They've told the owners to give them away to recyclers. They put them out for the rubbish, I collect them, I recycle them. Virgin don't want them, Sky don't want them. They would have to pay somebody to do what I do for free. So before anybody starts, of the 6 people that will probably watch this video, there you go. So that's a Sky and a Virgin box, and the Virgin is much harder to get into. Probably why it's still a Virgin. See you later, peeps.